Alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone over very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim out here pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, fall upon your houses. This is Brother Quanah Watts from the Arizona Great Millstone Camp. Come back at you, Lord will, with the edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Lord will. It is edifying, Lord will. It is straight to the point. And in this lesson, man, I ultimately want to touch on, right, a quick little exhortation, man, right, because as, bros know through the spirit, man, shit's been turning up, man. The spirits, right, the left-hand spirits, man, wickedness, right, is at an all-time high, and it's only, it's only increasing, which means that, the demonic attacks on bros, right, whether it be a mental attack, right, wicked thoughts coming into your mind, and you constantly having to rebuke them, or whether it be like physical ailments, right, or even financial, woes and whatnot, right, bros is going through it, man, right, and first and foremost, right, I want to say, hey, pray for brothers, man, pray for one another, right, constantly, man, we need to constantly be throwing up prayers, for the elect of the nation of Israel, man, but more importantly, right, those that are out here teaching and preaching, man, presenting their bodies a living sacrifice, right, risking their lives, right, to push this word, man. Pray for the body, man, but again, ultimately, pray for the elect of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man, constantly throwing up them prayers, man. Scriptures say to pray without ceasing, right, so just make sure you're throwing up your prayers, make sure, you're staying, as the elder apostle, Rakha always, says, man, keep your medicine strong, man. So, but again, nonetheless, right, hey, the demons are turning up and bros are going through it, man. Again, the different forms, of affliction, right, bros are dealing with, man. But we have to understand that there is, an expiration on us going through these things, man. Right? We're not going to be in this position where we're constantly constantly having to rebuke thoughts, constantly having to, like right now, I got a knee brace on, man. I had knee surgery back in 2013, man, and it's been doing well, but this body is, bro, 12, almost 13 years after surgery. Now my body's starting to really break down, We're not going to be in these trash bodies forever, man. We're not going to be in this position of having sicknesses, bro. Hey, there's got a fucking stomach bug going around, you got fucking, bros getting stiff back, stiff ain't able to sleep. We're not going to be in this position to keep dealing with these things for too much longer, man. This position that we're in, right, being in this world and suffering these different ailments, right, whether it be physical, mental, and we're not going to be in this position for very long, man, which has me bringing up this precept right here in 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 17. It says, for our light affliction, right, which is but for a moment, right, this is but for a moment. Let me grab that word real quick. It says moment, right, it says very brief portion of time, right, instant, right, it says moment, minute, right. But the point being what? This is a very brief portion of time. So, yes, we're going through it now. Yes, and sometimes, at points it feels like, damn, this is going to fucking last forever. But it's not. Right? It's not. Right? We're in the same position, as, Yahweh Shai. We have that joy, right, set before us, man. And understand that it's coming soon. Right? The kingdom of Yahweh Bashim El Shai is coming soon. Again, we have all the signs, man. Right? And this is why it's important for us to watch. Right? So that way we can be comforted, right? Knowing all these different signs that we were told about are coming to pass right now. They're happening right now. Really at this moment, we're just waiting for that, you know, Esau to put the people in a position, right, to need, you know, his solution, which is the charagma, right? We're waiting for that boa constrictor fucking grip, you know, that Esau is about to come down with, you know, which is, you know, a ultimate prophecy, man. You know, that's all we're waiting on, man. Right? Everything's already set. The MO to the TB, which is the RFID micro C hip, is already, the technology is already there. Right? Esau is now starting to, you know, promote, right, the MO to the TB, the RFID micro C hip. It's starting to promote it more, right? Trying to get the people by the means of different miracles that he's doing. You know, like the blind sight, which I did a video on now, I want to say a couple weeks ago, maybe a week and a half, a couple weeks ago, you know. So we're at that point already, right? So we know the next step is that chaos, you know. So that way he can bring forth his quote unquote order, right? Novos order seclorum, you know. No, that's not the one. Order ad chaos, right? Order out of chaos. Order out of chaos, right? That's what we're waiting for. You know, so we understand that can happen at any moment, right? So this affliction that we're going through now, everything that we're dealing with, it's about to come to an end, you know. And that's why it says right here, going back to it, 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 17, it says, for our light affliction is but for a moment, right? It says, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. Because really at the end of the day, all these different afflictions, right, are only here to, or we're only going through these things to further purge, you know, ourselves, right, of that old man, you know. Because scriptures talk about, you know, we have to be renewed through the spirit of our mind, right? Sometimes these afflictions that we go through, we just got to go through them because we're still under captivity. It might not be necessarily, you know, a lesson that you have to go, you know, learn, right? It might not be, oh, you know, I'm going through this because I was being proud. Hey, maybe you weren't. Maybe it's just because we're in captivity. Maybe we're still in these trash ass bodies and we still have to deal with the shit. And or it could be that situation. So whatever situation it ends up being, you have to understand that whatever the situation is, we still have to deal with it, right? And we still have to look at it, right, as a positive thing in a sense, you know, and bear it, you know. Sometimes it just might be, you know, hey, we're in captivity, the Lord wants to whoop our ass, right? Scripture say that, you know, bear the indignation of the Lord because we sinned against him, you know. So it might just be one of those situations, and or hey, the Lord's got to teach you something, man, you know. So whatever the reason, you know, for us going through it is, right, we just got to bear through it, man, you know. Bear through it, you know, and have a good mindset towards it, man. You know, have a good mindset toward the Lord while you're going through these things, man. Because the Lord's telling us, hey, you're not going to be going through these things forever. You know, what did the Lord say? He says, though I cause grief, yet will I have compassion, right? The Lamentation 3 and 31, you know. Lord's finna show a ultimate, we're receiving mercy right now. Right, by knowing who we are, knowing who our power is, and knowing how to please our power to the best of our ability in these times, even in this flesh. That's mercy, right? But the ultimate form of mercy is coming, right? Where all these things that we're going through are going to be taken away from us, man, right? And we're going to be in that everlasting, perfected state, you know? Let me grab this. And I just kind of, you know, I didn't have anything, you know, set up through the Spirit, man, or any precepts gathered, just kind of flowing through the Spirit, you know. This is Revelations 21 and verse 4. I'll start at verse 1. Revelations 21 and verse 1, it says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. And this is not going into, you know, as Christians go into it, right? A whole new earth, a whole, you know, that fucking Aladdin bullshit, a whole new world looking at. No, it's not, right? It's talking about, when you go into that word new, it goes back to renew, right? So the Lord's ultimately going to bring the earth back into the state in which it's supposed to be, right? That Garden of Eden state, you know. It says, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, which, the elder apostles, right, on down have, stated for many years, a Jerusalem is a people before it is a place, So this is ultimately speaking on the people, right? It says, which is really, this is speaking on the elect of the nation of Israel, right? It says, coming down from the most high of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their power. Right? It says, and the Most High shall wipe away all their tears. It's like, and the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. That's right, man. All the things that we're dealing with right now, everything, man, all that shit's going to be passed away, right? We're not going to have to deal with this shit no more, man. We're not going to have to sit here and constantly wake up to a fucking alarm 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, just to prepare for slavery, ultimately, man, to be mistreated while we're working our asses off, to ultimately have, to where our labors are not accounted for, man. Esau taking all the credit for our shit. No, man, that shit's gonna come to a screeching fucking halt here soon, man. Because that's what we need, man. We've been in this fucking position for so fucking long, right? We've been on the bottom for so fucking long. We don't even know what rest feels like, man. Bros talk about it all the time. We don't even know what rest feels like, man. We get home, like right now, I got a fucking raging ass headache. I didn't get no fucking sleep last night, man. Take some painkiller like ibuprofen, Tylenol. None of that shit worked, man. Everything that Esau got for us here, man, is trash. And at the end of the day, you take too much of that shit will fuck with your liver or have your kidney and your liver shutting down, man. So that shit's really not too good for you anyways, man. And all the natural remedies, right? Esau had made super expensive, and with prices going up and everything like that, it's even harder, to attain those things, man. So either way, we're in the worst case scenario, man. So we need to get the fuck up out of here, man. We need to. The scriptures say that, unless the days be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. Because this is how wicked and evil this place is, man. It says, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. All this shit can be done away with, man. It's going to be gone, man. And again, we don't have too much longer of dealing with this shit. It might feel like we do, but in reality, we don't, man. And it might feel like days, weeks, and months here, but hey, really, man, in the eyes of the Lord, man, it's really we're talking about seconds, if that, nanoseconds, compared to what is coming. Right? All eternity. And I remember the brother of war, we were holding camp today, man, and that brother was speaking. And I remember, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, last week or the week before, that brother made a beautiful point, man. He was like, in the Milky Way galaxy, right? In the Milky Way galaxy, mind you, there's trillions upon trillions upon trillions of galaxies, right? But we live in the Milky Way galaxy. He said, just in our galaxy alone, right? For planets that are similar, right, and habitable like Earth is, there's over 40 billion planets. That's not including the ones that are not habitable, right? So, bro, you know how long it's going to take just to even, grow to that size to where, because the scriptures talk about, the earth is going to, Jake is going to multiply so much that we're gonna have to leave. We're gonna have to leave the earth, man, and go and explore the rest of the universe. Scriptures talking about Isaiah the 60th chapter. It says, "One shall become 1,000, 1,000 a small nation." So it's like we're gonna multiply exceedingly, So we're gonna have to go out to these other nations and or these other planets and take over these other planets, and we're gonna experience new animals, new plants, new atmospheres, right? We're gonna experience things that we never even thought that were gonna be fucking possible. New fruits, new vegetables, and all these things are gonna be beneficial to us, man. It's gonna take all eternity to explore these different galaxies, the different, the whole universe, which is everlasting. The Lord said what? Enjoy forever and that which I create, man. So this time period that we're currently going through is literally so minute to the things that we're going to receive, man. So don't think of this shit that we got right here. Oh man, it's going to last forever. That shit will put you in a state of depression, man. Already more than we are now. Jake already got, Brother Gar, man, made a beautiful point at camp today. He said, we already got PTSD, man. Jake got PTSD here, man. Don't make the situation worse, by meditating on the hell that we're going through now. Meditate on the kingdom to come, right? Which is what comforts us, man. Meditate on the deliverance, right? Because through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, Tawadi Yahweh Shemel Shai, our beloved elder apostle Tahor, right, deemed this year what? The hopeful year of our deliverance, right? And the death and the destruction and judgment on Esau Edom, man. So hey, think about that. Think about those things, man. Positive things through the spirit. Yes, again, this hell is going to turn up and it's only going to continue to get worse. Hey, but there's a balance to it, man. As we see the hell turning up, as we see, and experience, more afflictions, more chastisements, keep your mind focused on Yahweh Shemel Shai and the kingdom to come, man. It says, verse 5, it says, and he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new, right? Everything gonna be new, man. And Brother War made a beautiful point again today, right? Talking about, hey, we ain't gonna have no goodwill, man. We ain't gonna have no no Burlington, Ross, right? None of these Savers and shit like that, man. The hand-me-down fucking spots, no Goodwills, no hand-me-down spots, man. None of that shit, man. Everything will be tailored to us, right? Perfectly tailored to us. Now, you ain't gonna have no, hey, that was a cold one, man. He said, you ain't gonna have no small, medium, large. You're gonna have a war, right? On the back, man. Instead of saying made in China, it's gonna say made for the elect, right? Instead of small, medium, large, it's going to say a war. Why? Because it's going to be personally tailored to us. There ain't going to be no different sizes, loose-fitting clothes, tight-fitting clothes. No, it's going to be a war. It's going to be Quanawat. It's going to be, Tazabah. It's going to be, whatever your name is, man. You can throw your name in there. Because we're all going to have our own set of clothes. It's going to be brand new. We're going to have servants that are going to sit here and make these things for us. Read that in Isaiah the 60th chapter, man. You want to read about the kingdom? Isaiah the 60th chapter is one of the best chapters to read, man, on how it's going to be for us. We ain't going to be feeling this shit no more, man. We ain't going to be on top. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get into that, man. It says, and he said unto me, right, for these words are true and faithful. That's right, man. But let's jump into this Isaiah the 60th chapter, man, and just get, again, how it's going to be for us, man. And why we shouldn't be, focusing too much on this hell that we dealing with, man. Again, there's a balance, right? Sometimes you got to meditate on what you're going through so that way you can say, hey, what did I do? Why am I in this position? To learn the lesson that the Lord is ultimately trying to allow you, or trying to have you learn. And again, sometimes you just going through some shit because we in the captivity, man. You just have to bear through it. But again, a lot of the times it's us having to learn something and be purged of something, that we still, have, right? That we have when we're in the world. So again, there's a balance to it, man, But this is Isaiah 60, And I'll start at verse 1. It says, Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is risen upon thee. That's right, man. You know, that starts with this word, right? Us, you know, ultimately receiving this word, right? Receiving this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man, right? Which is ultimately likened unto a light, right? Likened unto a lamp, you know? And us having this word is what allows for us to shine, right? People be looking at us different in the world. You know, when we start to, you know, walk according to the scriptures, when we start to walk, you know, against the grain of this world, people start to look at us and stare at us, man. Why? Because bugs are attracted to light, you know. But continue on, verse 2. It says, For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee, right? These people are in darkness, man. These people are confused, right? These people are bugged out, you know. They don't know what the fuck's going on, man. These people don't have no fucking clue, you know. These people are just, hey, they're lost in the sauce, man. Right? That Babylon juice, man. I'll actually drop down to verse 9. It says, Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, thy power. Right, man? You know, because everything that Esau's got, right? All the riches and gold and different stones that he's got, right, that are invaluable, you know, he gonna have to give that up. Scripture talk about the restitution, man. You know, he gonna have to return everything, man. You know, whether he wants to or not, right? First and foremost, he not gonna want to. It's gonna be taken, right? But then as, you know, time goes on, we're gonna make this motherfucker give all that shit back, man. He gonna want to, because if he don't, he gonna fucking die, man. And we're gonna read that, right? It says, and there go with them, it says, unto the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, thy power, to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. It says, thus, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy wall. Meaning we gonna have slaves, man. Right? And you know, Brother Gar made a beautiful point. You have the different nations were created for different reasons, right? Scriptures talk about Moab being that the Lord's washpot, right? Being the washpot. Moab was made to do the little massages that they do, like when you walk through the mall or some shit like that. Or the nails or the sewing, right? The dry cleaning, right? Moab was made for that shit, man. Esau was made to be a whooping stick, you know. But soon there's not going to be a need for him, you know. He we're put under this damn devil, right, to teach us a lesson, you know. As you read in Azariah, right, the Lord deliver us to you know, most cruel nation, right, hateful forsakers of the Most High, right? That's Esau, Edom, man. You know, but soon again he gonna be taken out the way. He gonna get his whooping, and then what? He gonna be completely eradicated as a nation. There's no more need for him. So different nations, right, have their different, you know, lots that they were made for, man. And soon these nations are gonna be put right back into that lot under us, doing exactly what they were meant to do. You know, and they're gonna love it, man. They're gonna enjoy it. They're gonna love it. You know. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I had mercy on thee. It's like, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Right. It says, therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. Meaning, again, you're going to have the heads of these nations coming and bowing down to us and giving us everything we want, man. Right, from the different, you know, fabrics, different spices. Like you've seen King Solomon. When you read about King Solomon, right, when he was building up the tabernacle of the Lord, you know, hey, guess what, man? We're talking about, hey, just in gold alone, we're talking about 666 shekels, you know, of gold every year, which accumulates to like, I think it was like $9.3 million. You know, every year in today's money for, you know, King Solomon. But that's just in gold itself. We're not talking about silver. We're not talking about different stones. We're not talking about the different wood, right? We're not talking about the different fabrics. We're not talking about the different spices. We're not talking about the different animals that were brought to him. Like King Solomon was a multi-trillionaire, man. When you really start to calculate everything up, King Solomon was a multi-trillionaire, which that was just a foreshadow, right? A foreshadow of what was to come. That's not even going to be, Hey, the what's coming is gonna far eclipse what King Solomon had, man. You know, far eclipse, man. That's gonna be minuscule compared to what we gonna have, man. Right? Verse 12, it says, "For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish." I mean, you're gonna be put to death. Go ahead and tell me no. You know, go ahead and give me attitude, man. You're gonna fucking die, man. You know, any heathen that doesn't do exactly what we want them to do, the exact same way we want them to do it, when we want them to do it, you know, and they complain about it, they dead. Over. Period, point blank. You know, and we'll have that right, man. You know, obviously we're gonna operate in righteousness, right? We're not just gonna, do some wicked shit. No, man. It's gonna be perfect righteousness in the kingdom, man. You know, it says, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted, right? It says, the glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, the box together, to beautify the palace, to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. When you go into that word Zion, it goes back to the Hebrew word Tezayawan, which means monument. We're going to be the standard of living, right? We're going to be the standard. Everybody's going to want to be us. You know, everybody's going to want to be around us. Everybody's going to want to just look at us, man. That's how the Lord is going to make us, man. So yeah, we going through a whole bunch of shit, man. Yeah, we going through physical ailments. Yeah, we got to fucking, our bodies aching. We got to wake up early as shit. But see, it's all worth it. It's all worth it because first and foremost, one, we're receiving a punishment for what we did wrong, right? Rightfully so. And then two, these same situations that we're going through are to help purge us, right, of that wicked nigga that we were when we were in the world, which is going to allow for us to be accepted of the Lord, to be partakers of this, man, to be those first fruits that get to see all this from the start all the way to eternity, till the kingdom is built, and then all we get to travel the galaxies, man, travel the universe. You know, that's the goal, man. That's which we should be focused on, man. You know, it says, verse 15, it says, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, man. That's the spirit, man. An eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. We're going to be perfect, man. The Lord is going to have joy in us, man, which I think you can read in Zephaniah, the third chapter, you know. The Lord is going to have joy in us, man. Man, it's going to be beautiful, man. We're going to constantly be singing songs and hymns and psalms. We're going to be all that, man, all the time, all the time, all the time, for eternity, all the time, you know. It says, thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles and shalt suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua, and thy Savior, and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. It says, for brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteous. Now this is going into, right, when you look at brass, brass is one of the most common, metals in the world, right? Copper, brass, right? The most common metal in the earth. You can literally find it in every continent, everywhere. You can't find gold everywhere, Lord's saying in place of that copper, in place of that brass, the Lord's going to give us gold, which means the abundance that we have that brass, the abundance that we have that copper, we're going to have the same abundance of gold, and vice versa, right? It says, for iron, I will bring silver. We had an extreme abundance of iron within the earth, man. Iron deposits and so on and so forth in the earth. Extreme abundance of iron in the earth. The Lord's going to give us silver in that abundance. So we're going to be extremely wealthy, man. We're going to be extremely rich, extremely, well off, man. It says, and for stones, iron, right? And stones are literally, I'm looking at a bed of stones right now, man. There's probably a few million just in this 100 yard, 100 yard long, maybe 15 yard wide fucking area, man. Millions, man. Millions. And from small stones to the big stones, right? To the riverbed rocks, there's fucking millions upon millions, right? For as much as I see stones now, man, we gonna have iron, silver, gold. Call Lord Yahweh Shemel Shah, right? And then it says, well, I will also make that officer's peace and not exact his righteousness. Meaning everything we do is gonna be perfect. It's gonna be righteous. It's not gonna be wicked, right? It's not gonna be, some shit that we do and then now we gotta, look over our head like, fuck, is the Lord gonna kill me? Is the Lord gonna judge me? Is the Lord gonna do this? No, we ain't gonna be in that state, man. Never, ever again. This is the last time we ever gotta feel like that, man. It's the last time that we ever gotta think like that. It says, violence shall no more be heard in thy land, nor wasting. It's like it says, wasting nor destruction within thy borders, but thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise. There ain't gonna be. Well, scripture's talking about Isaiah, I think it's the 65th chapter, Isaiah the 65th chapter. It talks about a lion and a lamb eating straw together. The animals ain't even going to be killing each other, man. Think about that, man. You ever seen that shit? You ever even heard of that shit? That's what the Lord's got prepared, man. It says, verse 19, it says, sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee, but the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shah shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy power, thy glory. Right? It says, thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself, for Yahweh Shemel Shah shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. Right, man? This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding will never ever be taken away from us ever again. Right? The Lord said what? That he's going to take away that stony heart, right, and give us a fleshly heart, meaning he's going to take us from a disobedient heart, take that away from us, right, and give us an obedient one, meaning we're going to do whatever the fuck he tells us to do perfectly, like we're supposed to, man. Perfectly. Never ever thinking twice about it, never questioning shit. We just gonna do it right then and there, man, perfectly. That's going to be that second covenant being established within us, man. Never going off, never having to teach our neighbors again, right? For bros that are out here teaching and preaching, we ain't going to be having to deal with fucking Jake being in a bugged out mindset and having to go back and forth and making our forehead hard against theirs and so on and so forth. We ain't going to be doing that no more. We do it right now because it's what's required of us, man. Preaching this gospel, spreading this word into the four corners of the earth. That's what's required of us right now. But soon, hey, we ain't gonna be doing that no more, man. When all hell breaks loose, that's gonna be the end of that. And then when we get into the kingdom, it's gonna be perfection. Even when the 2/3 come back, right? Because we know that 2/3 are gonna have to perish on this side, pursuant to Zechariah 13:8, verse 9. 2/3 are gonna have to perish on this side, man. That don't want to take heed. Right? But even then, when they come back to the loins of the elect, they're going to be perfect, man. Every man of the nation of Israel is going to be a ruler, and is going to have servants, man. Is going to be a ruler in the kingdom of Yahweh Shemel Shai. It says obviously the elect being the upper echelon, them being obviously set apart, being different, but nonetheless, all Israel is going to be righteous. All Israel is going to be on top, right? All Israel is going to live forever, right? It says, verse 21, it says, thy people also shall be all righteous. There you go. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shah, will hasten in his time. Meaning we going to be, hey, when you know how Jake, man, like breed like rabbits, man. Lord said he gonna hasten it, man. Jake gonna be, doing their thing, man. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful. Kids roaming around, you know, having fun. Our kids aren't even able to do that shit here today. You know, shit, my kids can't even go to the, you know, my fucking apartments, man. They literally opened it for one day. Talk about the pools open, this and the third. One person got in there with a shirt on, a regular, I guess it was a cotton shirt or some shit, and then locked the pool ever since. That was April 1st when they opened it, and it's fucking, what, the 13th or 14th, locked it. Or the 12th or 13th, locked it. It's like, come on, man. It's fucking hot in Arizona, man. It's already 100 degrees, you know, and you ain't gonna open the pool? Like, this the shit that we gotta deal with, man. You know, but again, as we just read, this is what's coming for us. Yeah, what we got to deal with now fucking sucks, but what's coming for us? The shit that we dealing with now ain't shit, you know? But I'll end it with this, man. You know, quick little exhortation through the Spirit, man. Lord will, it's been edifying thus far. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 18. It says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy," right? They're not worthy at all to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us, man. So again, focus on what's coming, man. Yes, again, right? There's a balance to it. Proverbs 11:1, right? A just weight, right? A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, man. A just weight is His delight. So, yes, again, there's times where we do have to meditate on the hell that we are going through in order to find the lesson, right? In order to understand, right, why we're going through what we're going through. Sometimes we just have to bear that indignation. But again, right, as we do that, we got to balance it out. Focus on the kingdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. Right, that should be our main focus. You know, focus on getting the fuck out of here, man. Focus on doing the things that will allow for us to get out of here, and that's serving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua to the best of our ability, man. You know, don't worry about what the fuck we going through now, man. This shit ain't gonna last too much longer, man. But that's all I got through the Spirit, man. Lord will was edifying. Lord will straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem, Rachak, B'Dash, double honor to the elder apostles, as the bishop's great millstone. Till next time, I say shalom.